My name is Aaron Bonner, and today I will be explicating To Althea from Prison by Richard Lovelace. First, some background information. The era of Cavalier poetry. The Cavalier poets was a school of English poets of the 17th century that came from the classes that supported King Charles I during the English Civil War. The Cavalier poet wrote short, refined verses, and the tone of his poetry was generally easygoing. About the poet. During the Cavalier era of poetry, Richard Lovelace lived out his life in 17th century England as a soldier, a lover, and a courtier, who was a companion to the king, in this case King Charles I. He wrote To Althea from Prison and To Lucasta Going to the Wars, which are regarded as two of the most moving and melodic lyric poems of the era. Lovelace died impoverished due to persecution he received as a result of his unwavering support for King Charles I. To Althea from Prison. I will begin by reading the poem on the left, then explicating it on the right. When love with unconfined wings hovers within my gates, and my divine Althea brings to whisper at the grates, when I lie tangled in her hair and fettered to her eye, the birds that wanton in the air know no such liberty. In the first line, Lovelace asserts that love possesses wings which go beyond the physical. Hovers within my gates, in the second line, refers to Lovelace's being in prison as he was writing this poem. And my divine Althea brings. Althea alludes to Lovelace's lover, Lucy Sacheverell. To whisper at the grates. Lucy would visit Lovelace while he was in prison, and here the use of whisper suggests such meetings were in secret. When I lie tangled in her hair and fettered to her eye. This is a description of the interaction between Lovelace and Lucy, and in the next line, fettered simply means restrained, as in he cannot look away from her. The birds that wanton in the air know no such liberty. Birds, creatures with physical wings, unlike love, who play, or wanton, do not know the liberty that Lovelace feels when he is with his lover, Lucy. When flowing cups run swiftly round, with no allaying dames, our careless heads with roses bound, our hearts with loyal flames, when thirsty grief in wine we steep, when healths in draughts go free, fishes that tipple in the deep know no such liberty. In the first line, flowing cups refers to cups of alcohol, as at a party. With no allaying Thames. This line alludes to the Thames River in England, and how its water is not diminishing, or allaying, the wine at the party. Our careless heads with roses bound. This line is just Lovelace describing a party, where careless people can do what they want, including wear a wreath of roses. Our hearts with loyal flames. Loyal flames here specifically means support for the king being King Charles I. When thirsty grief in wine we steep, when healths and draughts go free. More on the party at hand. Grief, due to historical events that also caused Lovelace's imprisonment, is being alleviated by the presence of healths, or toasts, and draughts, which is the taking in of wine. Fishes that tipple in the deep know no such liberty. After writing of a party that emphasizes freedom, Lovelace then says that a fish which drinks in the deep of the whole ocean, which would have a great deal of freedom, does not know such liberty as that of him supporting his king. When, like committed linnets, I, with shriller throat shall sing the sweetness of mercy, majesty, and glories of my king. When I shall voice aloud how good he is, how great should be, enlarged winds that curl the flood know no such liberty. In the first half of this stanza, we see the word linnets. Linnets are a group of songbirds, and here Lovelace likens them singing their songs to himself singing that praise of King Charles I. This idea is again revealing the freedom Lovelace possesses despite his imprisonment, as he can still praise his king. In the second half of this stanza, Lovelace goes on to say that enlarged winds do not know this liberty. In this instance, Lovelace is suggesting that no wind can make as loud a sound as he when praising his king. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Mine's innocent and quiet take, that for an hermitage. If I have freedom in my love, and in my soul am free, angels alone that soar above enjoy such liberty. In the first half of this stanza, we see the most famous lines of this poem, which are the first two. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. These are actually the core message of the poem in its entirety. Here, Lovelace stops the comparisons. He comes right out and says that prison is not a cage. Hermits enjoy resigning to cages because it gives them freedom, from society. In the second half of this stanza, Lovelace applies this to himself with the claim that as long as he has freedom, not physically, but in his soul, which in 1642 most likely referred to consciousness, then he is free as the angels who soar above. Thank you.